Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something truly bizarre, a phenomenon that might just make you question your own past, your own memories. It's called the Mandela Effect, and honestly, it's a real head-scratcher. All right, let's just jump right in with a little memory test. I want you to think back to the 90s. Picture the video stores, the movie posters. Do you remember a comedy called Shazam? You know, the one with the comedian Sinbad playing this goofy genie? A ton of people swear they remember it vividly. Well, here's the thing. That movie, it never existed. Not at all. Now, you're probably thinking of the 1996 movie Kazam, which starred Shaquille O'Neal. But that feeling you might have right now, that little voice in your head going, wait, no, I am sure I saw it, that is the very heart of what we're talking about today. And that feeling, that collective, wait, what, is what we call the Mandela Effect. It gets its name from maybe the most famous example. A huge number of people share a specific memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison back in the 1980s. But he didn't. He was released and lived all the way until 2013. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so let's really dig in here. Let's look at some of the most famous, most mind-bending examples of this effect. Because it's not just about one movie or one historical figure. It touches some of the most iconic parts of our culture.
And it's not just, big historical events. It seeps into the stuff we grew up with. Think about one of the most famous movie quotes of all time. Luke, I am your father. Guess what? He never says it. The real line is, no, I am your father. Same goes for the evil queen in Snow White. It's not mirror, mirror, it's magic mirror. And Pikachu's tail? Nope, no black tip. And the Berenstain Bears? It's always been Berenstain with an A. So many people remembering the exact same wrong details. It's wild.
So when you have millions of people all remembering the exact same wrong thing, well, that's when you start to get some pretty wild theories. And they all start with a simple question. What if our memories aren't the things that are wrong? What if reality is what changed? Okay, so one of the biggest theories out there actually comes from quantum physics. It's called the many worlds interpretation. The basic idea is that for every possible outcome of an event, the universe splits. So somewhere out there, there's a universe where that movie Shazam was a huge blockbuster. And this theory suggests that maybe, just maybe, some of us have slipped. We've jumped tracks from that reality into this one, but our memories are still from back there. And this idea gets a modern twist, right? A lot of people online point the finger at CERN and its Large Hadron Collider. There were all these viral claims that its experiments are so powerful that they're literally punching holes in reality, causing different dimensions to bleed into each other, and creating these memory glitches. Now, if parallel universes aren't your thing, how about this one? What if none of this is real? What if we're all living inside a giant computer simulation? And look, this isn't some new idea from The Matrix, even though that movie made it famous. It goes way, way back to ancient philosophers. If we are in a simulation, well, the Mandela effect could just be a bug in the code, a glitch. Or maybe it's just a developer patching an error, leaving behind traces of the old version in our memories. Look, these sci-fi ideas are super fun to think about, but they all run into the same huge wall. You just can't prove them. There's no test you can run, no experiment you can do. They operate completely outside the known laws of physics. For instance, the original many worlds theory says you can't cross between universes, which kind of shoots a hole in the whole shifting timelines idea right from the start. So, if we can't prove any of that, where does that leave us? Well, scientists suggest maybe we're looking in the wrong place. Maybe the glitch isn't out there in the universe. Maybe it's in here, in the incredibly complex hardware right between our ears. Here's the thing you have to understand. Your memory is not a video camera. It's not a perfect recording. It is incredibly flawed. I mean, a 2020 study found that a whopping 76% of adults, 76%, made at least one memory mistake when they were tested. Our brains are just not perfect recording devices. And neuroscientists actually have a name for why this happens. It's called memory reconsolidation. Think of it this way. Every time you access a memory, you're not just pulling a file from a cabinet. You're actually taking it out, opening it up, and then putting it back. And every time you do that, that memory is vulnerable. It can be changed. New bits of information or misinformation can get accidentally woven in. So let's go back to Nelson Mandela himself. How does this explain why so many people thought he died in prison? Well, it's likely a case of mistaken identity, a memory mix-up. People's minds were probably conflating him with Steve Biko, another very famous anti-apartheid activist from South Africa who did tragically die in prison in 1977. Our brains, trying to be efficient, basically see these two similar stories and mash them together into one, slightly wrong, new memory. And then you pour gasoline on this little memory fire with the internet. See, we're really suggestible. So if you go online and see 1,000 people saying it's Berenstain, your own memory starts to feel wobbly. Then something called cognitive dissonance kicks in, that uncomfortable feeling you get when you believe two conflicting things. It's just easier for our brains to go with the crowd than to admit we might have been wrong all along. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. On one hand, we've got these incredible theories about parallel universes and computer glitches. And on the other, we have the science of our own brains, psychology, neuroscience, and the known bugs in our mental hardware. When you really lay it all out side by side, it becomes pretty clear, right? The multiverse and simulation ideas are amazing stories, but they have zero evidence. On the other hand, the idea that our brains make mistakes, that's supported by decades of scientific research. It's the explanation that actually has facts and studies behind it. So what does this all mean? The Mandela Effect probably isn't a sign that reality is broken. It's a sign that our memory is. But it also shows us just how fascinating and creative our minds are. Your memory isn't a hard drive. It's more like a creative storyteller, constantly weaving and rewriting your past to build a narrative that makes sense to you right now. And really, that leaves us with one last, kind of unsettling question to chew on. How much of what you absolutely positively know to be true is just a story? A story that your own mind has been editing and polishing for years until the fiction feels more real than the truth ever did.